JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. January 10th, 2025, 9:02 a.m. on this fine Friday morning. Talk really quick about markets. Some names I'm looking at, go from there, but take a look at the futures, S&P tumbling. We were red going into this morning. Uh, I guess NVIDIA, their communications director, someone came out with comments in regards to the possibility that U.S. administration is going to try and curb exports or what have you. They said that'd be net negative. Stock wasn't down too much, all things considered. And then we had the jobs report. And I was saying on the rant on Wednesday and Tuesday, you would hope you don't like to see not a lot of jobs created or losses of jobs, right? It's not good. It's not a good thing. But I think for the market to kind of shake off the Fed Chair Powell's hawkish commentary at the last Fed meeting, you would want to see some kind of miss, and it was anything but a miss. A huge beat. I mean, it was a monster. Bested estimates in regards to how many jobs were created, and then the unemployment rate dropped from 4.2 to 4.1. So just not the scenario. Like if you had told me Tuesday what the data would be, I would say, yeah, the future is going to take a tumble. The thing is, it's so strong. It's almost like maybe we get some kind of reversal here. So that would be my hope, is we get a shakeout here. 584 on the SPY. That was the key spot from last week. And then 580 was January 2nd lows, 580.50 on the SPY. So I want to see those levels hold. Otherwise, then you start worrying, right? Yields are at levels, the 10-year just hit highs not seen since November of 2023, which is not a big deal in the whole context of things. But considering that the Fed just started cutting rates again, well, in the midst of it, you would think that it would be the opposite, right? So now you have this, I'm sure this higher for longer mantra is going to keep, the chatter is just going to continue to build. And then, next Fed meeting is at the end of this month. So that's probably the next chance if the markets can't find footing here today. And then there's definitely some concerns there. Also, earnings start. So earnings start next Wednesday. I have no idea why. Usually banks kick it off on a Friday, but banks kick it off on Wednesday, and then there's some other names reporting. And also next week is JP Morgan's 43rd annual healthcare conference. A lot of big names reporting there, presenting, excuse me, including Intuitive Surgical. And they have their presentation on January 15th. They'll pre-announce their data. So definitely a name I'll be looking at, especially with all this robot hype. We keep talking about some of these OG names, original names that I've traded over the years. Intuitive Surgical is one of my favorites. All right. And I think it was on my first top 5 stocks webinar, I think back in 2014. All right. So, or 2013. I don't have to look. All right. So that's that. That's overall market. So just want to see a hold here. I mean, if you look at the whole context in regards to the SPY's chart, since we've been chopping around in this area, right? Since that big break after the Fed was kind of hawkish in regards to their commentary. So we've been chopping around. So you could chalk this up a little bit to consolidation, and then maybe we can start to work out of it. But if not, again, we're under the 50-day moving average, and then some areas that we've hit that we found some support. If those don't hold, yeah, I'm not sitting here getting my bear suit on, but I'll get my correction hat on and probably be more skewed to play for puts for downside. And that's the yields. And then individual names. And then, sure enough, ROKU was looking great on Wednesday. We had that reversal from the morning lows. It opened at 79, went down into the 78s, and then just went on a bounce. And by mid-afternoon, I think by 3 o'clock, was up over nearly 8%, and had crossed the highs that it saw on Tuesday, which I think was 84.69, went all the way up to 84.94. And then it reversed, closed at 83. I thought there'd be continuation to today. And then Moffitt, Nathanson, however you pronounce them, downgraded the stock this morning from neutral to sell, and lowered their price target to 55 from 75, 85, somewhere. Huge downgrade. The thing is, they've always been negative, the stock. You go back and look back in October, they raised it from sell to neutral. So they're flip-flopping within a matter of 3 months. But even when it was in the 300s, it sells neutral rating. So, I mean, unfortunately, the market's reacting to it, so that it's gapping down here. But wouldn't be surprised to see another reversal here today. But obviously, if the market's not going to cooperate, it's going to be tough for any stock to really reverse today. But still like this name. I've did my tweets and posted in the chat room regarding my thoughts in regards to what happened with Fubo and Disney. The fact that they have hundreds of billions of dollars of viewing hours, their partnership with TTD, and just where things are going. It seems like this name, and it was down 18% last year, just can't get out of its rut. I think once it does, and there was always concerns. I always talked about its profitability, but people always talk about its platform revenue, but it doesn't. It's a platform monetization company, and that's where their profits come. They grew their margins 30% last year, so really like this story. I'll probably not. Probably won't add anything today, pending any major strengths, but don't be surprised if I do over the next couple or continue to look to play for upside. Joby disappointing, and you had that whole quantum meltdown on Wednesday in regards to Jensen's comments saying that quantum maybe not 10, not all the way out to 30, but maybe 20 years out, which hit all those names. They all got destroyed, and unfortunately, a lot of the move up in those quantum names was retail traders, right? And so when the retail traders are in lots of other names that have been hot, like a Joby, those get hit too. So it was down 7%. It's gapping a little lower here in the pre-market. Well, not a little lower. JP Morgan downgraded Joby. I just saw that come up. Still like this one here. I mean, when I closed my January strikes, I didn't want to be in a spot where I had no call, so I went and got some of the Februaries. Not surprised to see some chop here, but I'll be patient before adding more strikes, likely to April's. TripAdvisor, same with most of the other names on Wednesday, sold off at the open. There was no news or catalyst. It actually sold down to 1450, and then it just melted higher for the rest of the day. If the market was open another 30 minutes, probably would have been in the green. Back over 15. Hopefully that holds here today. Still have to get out my January strikes, so it's going to require more patience. Still holding the Junes. And then the other name I was watching on Friday, United Healthcare, and I've been watching it for the last couple of weeks anyways. I think the cloud around the company, I wouldn't even call it the cloud, but it seems like all that hoopla around it is kind of dissipating. And because of that, the stock is starting to bounce. And I think the further away we get from that, the more it bounces. Of course, what happens, it got upgraded this morning by HSBC. 200-day moving average there is 536. I would not be surprised to see this trade up into 530s unless the market gets really crazy today. So the unfortunate thing is they report earnings next week, so the premiums are elevated for calls into next week. So I'm not going to look for those. But if I do look for some call bounces, it'll be on UNH. And then on the flip side, similar candidates for downside puts, MDB, which actually at some point I'm going to be looking for calls on MDB. But just short term today, expiring spec puts, right? So I'm not worried about what it's going to do next month or next week. I'm worried about trying to get some protection for downside. Lam Research, ASML, ServiceNow, those will be some of the names. And then I keep looking at Intuit and had a nice bounce on Wednesday. And then Piper Sandler came out this morning, reiterated their overweight rating, $765 price target. But that could be another name that I look for some inexpensive spec lotto puts on. And that's it, folks. Have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.